I'm Andy Cole. I'm an associate professor of landscape architecture and ecology. I've been at Penn State for, wow, since 93, so 27 years. And within the department, I teach the introductory ecology class, mostly to undergrads, but some incoming MLAs. And I also teach some of the advanced studios, not studios, the seminars. And I also direct a relatively new center called E+D, Ecology Plus Design. Anything to do with ecological subjects is my bailiwick. My best subjects are those that deal with those kind of concepts. Again, the introductory ecology course is a lot of fun, and it's not just for the undergrads, for the freshmen, really. It's also for incoming students for the MLA program. One of the things I like to do in that course, and we've had the chance to do this separately too, is have some plant identification. That's always a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this for the students. I also teach I forgot to say this earlier, teach Larch 246, get the number right, which is the 4-day field trip for the undergraduates and the graduate students in the MLA. And that's a lot about reading the landscape, walking through the overall ecology of the landscape, and a whole lot of plant identification there too. So anything that gets me out in the field and identifying things and touching things and trying to explain the landscape from an ecological point of view, that's the kind of stuff I like. And it's been kind of a pain to not be able to do that in this time of COVID. Sure. And this is actually very pertinent in these days, and that's just persistence. Not all of us, I include myself among that, are among the brightest and most brilliant people on the planet. We're all smart. But the thing that got me through anyway, and I think is a really important trait for anybody to get through graduate school, is persistence. There are always going to be highs, always going to be lows, but just plugging through, and that'll get you through an awful lot. You look back at the end of the year and go, wow, I did all that stuff, even though it wasn't apparent at the time. Just keep plugging through. That'll get you really far in life, just being persistent. Yeah, there's a few. Again, I'm working with other faculty on the E+D idea. So Travis Floor and I are going to be working at Harpers Ferry National Historic Site down in Virginia, West Virginia, actually, on looking at some impacts to rare cliff resources, rare plants, and the effects of climbing routes and other recreational opportunities on those resources. So that's one. I know we're going to be looking for some help when that gets going next year. I'm working with a group down in Liberal Arts to understand how to possibly come up with a shared identity of all the people who live in the 64,000 square mile Chesapeake Bay watershed. We're just piloting that project right now, so we hope to make it much bigger and bring in students for that. Peter Stemple, our new hire, and I just put in a proposal to hopefully run a studio next spring in Southern Virginia, looking at sea level rise and coastal communities and their response to sea level rise. That will be a studio if it gets funded, and we're looking forward to that. So and honestly, all the other people involved in E+D have their own research efforts that are going on, all related to concepts around ecology plus design. So it's not just me. Yeah, I'm a wetland ecologist by training. I like wet places if the water is not too deep, and I liked sites that humans have modified. I like to look at those sites to see whether or not what we design for the landscape actually functions the way that we think it's supposed to function. And I started with wetlands here. A lot of those wetlands on the landscape that are human made don't function like they're supposed to. So I hope to be able to provide some design guidance there. And then I hope to have a really big project looking at lots of these design sites, whether they're wet and aquatic sites to other, more dry sites, to look at the claims made by the designers, if they're ecological claims, to actually test those, to see whether those claims are real, and if we can provide some guidance to improve some of those designs. I hope to come up with that for the profession. But this will be maybe a little bit more broad than that. But one thing that helped me a lot, and continues to help me a lot, is to get involved with as much around the department and the profession that you can as a student. Your options are going to be somewhat limited, but join clubs, become student volunteers in department activities, become class reps for department conversations, get to know what's going on. And the only way you get to know what's going on is to be a participant. And then once you know what's going on, you can help shape how things turn out in the future. So get yourself involved at whatever level you can.